Hello, this is Jill, and look at what we have here. We got another pinball game, and this is actually a cocktail pinball game. Cocktail pinball is pretty rare, and this particular game is actually a really rare one. This is the Caribbean Cruise, manufactured by International Concepts. Now, this is essentially a Gottlieb machine. International Concepts hired Gottlieb to design and manufacture two cocktail machines. Caribbean Cruise was one of them, and this is dated from 1989. And basically the insides, the electronics are Gottlieb System 3 basically components, if you're interested in that. But that's not really why I'm making this video today. So I took the top glass off the machine here to kind of show you the innards. Now, when I bought this machine, I got this thing for such a deal. It was like just a few $100s. The guy didn't think it worked, but I got it. It was basically a couple of faulty switches, and I got it running. Actually, right in front of him, and he still gave me a deal. But so what I wanted to focus on was when I bought this machine. He was kind of nice. The guy was really nice. He said, "Oh, I just changed all the rubbers for you. These things, the flipper rubbers, etc." So he says you don't have to worry about that. And so I was kind of happy about that. Didn't have to worry about it. But when I started playing it, I realized something was happening. And if you look right here, I'm not sure if you could actually see it. Getting good enough light here. You will see some kind of like ringing action here. Some rings. Basically, the ball sometimes hits the table here and kind of makes indentation ring. Now these are fairly common in pinballs. The pinball ball kind of bounces around a lot and kind of sometimes makes these little circular rings. But these here, and again, I'm not sure if you could actually see this, but these look more like dents. You can kind of see it in her arm. And it's actually a little rough. And I'm going, well, this is just not normal wear from the ball. And it actually was getting worse. I only played it for a couple of weeks. And I was going, something's happening here. And so I took a closer look. And so what I want to do is focus in on the flippers. Now, if you look at, most of the wear was happening kind of right here, right about here. There's a little bit of flipper here that you can kind of see the light reflection. You can kind of see the dents forming, and so just in front of the flippers. So it had to do with the flippers. So when I looked closely at the flippers, I was kind of like just examining them, and I realized that they were kind of, they weren't flat. They weren't just up and down like this. They were actually leaning a little bit like this, and I couldn't figure out why. And so I took one off. And so if I can do this with one hand, which I may not be able to, but we'll try. We'll get this rubber off, and I'll show you what's going on. Now here's the rubber, and it's a standard 1/2 inch wide flipper rubber. But if you look right here, you can see that the flipper paddle itself was manufactured with a groove. And that groove is smaller than a 1/2 inch. So measuring this groove, it turns out it's not a 1/2 inch wide groove. It's a 3/8 inch. Actually, it's a little smaller than 3/8. But I understand that it takes a standard Gottlieb 3/8 inch rubber, and so that's the problem. So if I had a 3/8 inch flipper rubber here, it would actually fit between these grooves and actually be flush. But instead, the individual I bought this from installed a 1/2 inch rubber, and so it kind of like got stuck. Bad light in here. Kind of the bottom of it got stuck within the groove, but the top kind of overhung this little lip, and therefore it was a little skew pointing down. And so when a ball came rolling here, it hit and was actually directed downward rather than out. And so a lot of force, and you can just feel it right through here, a lot of force, and again you can see the textures there, all the dents. A lot of force just went right here and started denting up this beautiful playfield. So the moral of the story is my happiness soon turned into sadness because I basically got a perfect game, and just playing it for a couple of weeks kind of started degrading the playfield. And this was before I actually figured out what was happening. And so when you buy these things, inspect them really well. I mean, just looking at these rubbers, you wouldn't really think that there would be a problem, but he said he just changed it, and of course he got the wrong size. So when you're changing your pinball flipper rubbers, be very careful to get the correct size for your particular flipper, because if they don't sit in there perfectly and maybe lean forward a little bit, you could actually start damaging your playfield. And so maybe one day I'll decide to maybe work on this playfield and refurbish it, but right now I have to order myself some 3/8" flipper rubbers and just start with that and play it for a while anyway. So I hope this video helped you out. I will see you next time, and happy pinball.